the Stoics will have survived Nairobi traffic. So it's 7:42 a.m. along Thika Road, and you haven't moved in the line of the traffic for over 11 minutes. Somewhere ahead, a matatu is trying to force itself into a gap that doesn't even exist. At the same time, a boda boda is riding a pavement like it owns him something. Someone 3 cars back is hooting their horns and leaning into them like it's gonna move the traffic. It's not. They know this that it's not going to, but they do it anyway. And you're somewhere seated in your car, engines off, looking at your clock as it keeps eating your time, and you keep telling yourself the same thing that everybody else is telling themselves in that line, which is, "Oh, this is going to ruin my day," you know. So let me tell you about the man who knew about this before the road even existed. You know, his name was Epictetus. About 2,000 years ago, a man in Rome named Epictetus. He wasn't born in manual status. He was born a slave. His whole life he was owned by another human being. He didn't even have his own schedule. He didn't even have control over his own future. No control over even his own body. And out of that life, not a comfortable philosophy seminar, an actual life with actual change. He built one idea so simple. It sounds almost stupid until you actually sit with it. Some things are up to you, but most things are not. That's what he said. And almost every miserable moment of your life comes from treating the second category like it's the first. And here he wasn't talking about Nairobi traffic. I know you and I both know this. He didn't know what a matatu was, but he was talking about you. This morning, 7:42 a.m., engines off, watching your clock. What does it actually mean in the car? Being in the car with you, yourself being alone in the car. Let's be specific here for a bit. You know, like vague philosophy is usually useless philosophy. And let me explain why I'm talking about Epictetus's quote here. What the things which are not in our under control are so many compared to the things which we have under control, like the jam. It's not in our control. The portal repairs that have never been done ever since 2019, or the traffic police officer who picked today to man that junction like it's his personal toll booth, the matatu that just cut you off, or a gap of 2 feet, between a gap of 2 feet. Your boss's opinion about what on time really means. Those are the things which I think most of the context I'm talking here are out of your control. But the things which are under our control are things like what you do in those 11 minutes in that traffic jam, or 40 minutes you're about to lose. What story you tell yourself about what's happening. Whether you spend that time composing a ruthless reply, or a ruthless note in your mind or in your head to the driver who cut you off, or whether you use it for something that actually works for you, because we know where energy goes, attention goes. That's it though, that's the split of it. Everything the Stoics were writing, all the scrolls, all the scriptures, all the letters, all the ancient wisdom people quote on Instagram without reading, comes back to that one line down in the middle. You didn't choose that traffic jam. You are choosing what it's doing to you, you know. And I may talk about you choosing things and what you don't choose deeper, talking about somebody else. And it's about the emperor who got annoyed, So Marcus Aurelius was not a slave. He was the most powerful person on earth. He was the emperor of Rome, the Roman emperor. He would have anyone in the empire killed with a sentence. And even he could wake up some mornings already irritated by the people who is going to deal with, the flatterers, the liars, the arrogance, the ungrateful. So he decided to do something different. And in his book, he says he wrote himself a note. Basically, told himself that you already know what exactly these people are going to be like today. So stop actually being shocked when they show up exactly like that. Tell me that's not what you deal with every day, like the conductor shouting over your head the third time this week. Tell me it's not the driver who thinks indicators are optional. Or tell me it's not your boss messaging you're late again and at 8:03, like like the road was personally waiting for you to be born before it decided to be broken. You already know that all of us, we've been on the traffic here on Ngara, Pangani, Koja Street, the whole of Thika Road. Here, there's somewhere else also here when Dani, when there's a U-turn you take to go to Sukari. But you already know that Nairobi traffic is gonna be Nairobi traffic. The surprise is the part that's optional. The rage is the part you're adding for free, yo. Just know that. But here's the part which actually matters. Here's where these things I'm trying to talk about stop being nice quotes and they actually start being useful. Somebody built the systems, okay? The roads that flood the whole of April like it's a surprise. The infrastructure that never quite catches up with the population it's supposed to be serving. The city that makes 500,000 people sit in metallic boxes, burning their fuel and burning their patience every single morning, twice a day, for their entire working lives. That wasn't an accident, guys. That was a series of decisions made by people over decades. That's somebody, and somebody is benefiting from all of this. And you can't fix that from your driver's seat this morning. That's the emperor's job, not yours. And most days, there's no emperor doing it. You can What you can fix is whether the system gets your morning too. Because right now, most of us are paying this twice. Once in fuel and time, sitting in the jam, and once in the version of yourselves that walk into the office already burnt out, already irritated, already defeated, before the actual work day that has been waiting for you for the next 8 hours even begins. And that second cost is the one you were never forced to pay. You are never. The rage is the part you're adding for free, bro. Always be under control. Be under control. Have your emotions under control. Have emotional intelligence, because you need to be. I think in a way you need to be calm in in times where you are not supposed to be calm. But if you can do that, I think that's a really big, huge superpower. But we all know that this is the part which Epictetus would want you to notice. Not, it's not, don't be upset about traffic. He'd want you to notice that you're handing over something valuable. Your attention, there's your mood, and there's your morning. It's not about being upset. Just think about from your own point of view, your attention, your mood, and your morning to something that was never asking for it and never giving it back. You know? Yeah. So what does it look like surviving in Nairobi actually means? This isn't really about traffic, and I think all of you already knew that. It's about, let's say, the interview you're waiting on, or the internship you've been sending and you're waiting for their reply in your email, or for the family member who's disappointed in you for the career path you chose, or the salary that has ended 4 days before the next one's supposed to come. The relationship that isn't what you thought it was. And in a kind of way, the Stoics were not teaching us to stop caring. The Stoics were actually teaching us to put the caring aside so it doesn't destroy them. Because for you to be angry with someone, bro, you need to care so much. For you to hate somebody, you need to care a lot. The ego and the pride are something huge, man, and you need to keep those things in check. But if you do this enough time, like knowing that you can put the caring aside, and so that it cannot destroy you, you will see that this, what I'm talking about here, is not just about any philosophical quotes that you're reading about, and it starts being how you move through a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, and so on and so on and so on. The traffic was never the test, wejua. It's just the cheapest, most repetitive practice around the city, which gives you every single day for free. Whether you take it, it's up to you. It's up to you. But I'd finish by saying this though. You see, next time when you're sitting on a Mombasa road with your inches of watching a boda squeeze through a gap that shouldn't exist, that's not wasted time, guys. That's the Stoics' entire curriculum running live, right outside your window. Yeah, so have control over your mind.